The following segment is sponsored by Smith Injury Law and 300hurt.com.
Attorneys that work with auto collisions have seen every worst-case scenario, and Richard Smith from Smith Injury Law hopes you will avoid the accident in the first place. He's here now to talk about why we all need to focus on safety. Hi, Richard.
Good morning, Margaret.
An accident can happen to anybody, and there's a lot of distracted driving these days. You're seeing that way too often, aren't you?
Absolutely. We got people texting and driving, talking on the telephone, adjusting their radio, the usual things that happen.
And if you end up being in a crash, you're possibly in a more dangerous situation along the roadway afterwards. What do you want people to keep in mind about that?
Absolutely. We've had several cases involving that where people have been standing in the roadway after an accident and get hit by a car. So be very careful leaving your vehicle, and not only leaving the vehicle, but also getting completely off the road, not just on the shoulder. We've had people hit on the shoulder of the road too. Mm-hmm. So don't assume that those drivers behind you are going to stop when they see an accident in front of them. They may be distracted like we just talked about.
All right. And a lot of accidents also happen because drivers are running red lights. So you wanted to point out, if you've been waiting at that intersection, you shouldn't just hit the gas pedal because the light turns green, right?
Correct. It's not a drag race. We don't just wait there and as soon as it turns green, you hit the gas immediately and jump out in the intersection. Take a break, take a small second just to look at the intersection first. And if you see somebody, coming up that intersection at a fairly high rate of speed, you might want to make sure they're going to stop because they don't always stop.
And you're all about defensive driving. You covered a lot of good information in your book, 10 Critical Mistakes to Avoid If You're Injured in a Car Wreck. Tell us a little bit more about that book and why you wanted to write it overall.
Well, that's why I wrote the book, is to help people not only after you're in an accident, but also try to help you avoid an accident. We talk about these tips, also talk about making sure your tires are properly inflated and your brakes are operating properly. And just don't speed and don't follow too closely. And I think it's very important to point out about, we just mentioned earlier about, look at an intersection before you pull into an intersection.
Well, in that book you write, you cover a lot of legal information too in a really easy to read way. So I know people enjoy that book a lot. Your practice areas include personal injury, workers' compensation, car and truck collisions, and Social Security disability claims. Tell us what it's like to work with you at Smith Injury Law.
Well, when you call us at the office, whether you call 300hurt or you go to our website at 300hurt.com, you talk to us. You talk to either myself, my partner Scott Becky, or one of my paralegals, and we're a relatively small firm, although we have offices in Spartanburg, Greenville, and Asheville, and Charlotte. We're here to help you. We're very hands-on. You don't get pushed around to multiple people. You talk to us, and we help you with your case.
Well, you take great care of people, and they can contact you by calling 300hurt, visiting 300hurt.com. Richard Smith of Smith Injury Law, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Margaret.